Man, I really wish someone would give me 3 wishes. Greetings and welcome back to another Disney-tastic episode of the Vodkast. I'm your host, as always, Jason Oliveira. There's nothing with us today. This is a very different episode of the podcast. I don't know why it popped into my head the other day, but I threw a question out there to the masses, and they answered in droves. I was actually quite surprised by the feedback that I got. Some of the most feedback I've ever gotten on something, oddly enough. Anywho, I asked, besides Star Wars and Marvel, what are your top 3 favorite Disney movies of all time? And I got a cornucopia of different answers. I was quite shocked to find that some of these movies I didn't even realize were Disney movies. Now, there are a few of these we're going to discount, only due to the fact that they are owned by Disney, but they were not created by Disney. And that's okay if they're still your favorite Disney movie, because, I mean, if we're being honest, Star Wars is going to just blow everything else out of the water. I want to read you a few people's answers. My friend Rick said, Rick, the producer slash seducer, said Spirited Away because they own the distribution rights. Now, Spirited Away is a great movie. If you've never seen it, you should check it out. Studio Ghibli, however the hell you want to pronounce it. Black Hole and Escape from Witch Mountain. Black Hole, the minute I read that, it brought me back to my childhood. There was that little robot. I can see it. Looked like like it was a ball with a little thing on top and flat. Anywho, I don't remember much about the movie, but now I want to go back and watch both of those movies, because I remember Escape from Witch Mountain being one of those movies that, like, right before Christmas break, when you were in, like, middle school, everybody gathered in the gymnasium or the auditorium, depending what your school had. They'd drop the screen and you'd watch a movie and then go home and celebrate whatever you celebrate. Chuck said Hercules, Raya, and Lion King. Now, I have not seen Raya, and for the life of me, I can't remember Hercules. Maybe it just didn't stick with me. Maybe it didn't resonate. One of my top 2 has a lot to do with the reason why Disney movies after a certain point lost interest for me. Raya, I'm going to check that one out. And The Lion King is, yes, absolutely a beautiful movie. It did not make my top 5, but it's definitely in the top 10. Anyway, there's feedback after feedback. Sleeping Beauty, Tangled, The Parent Trap, Mary Poppins, Escape from Witch Mountain popping up again, Beauty and the Beast, Parent Trap, Escape from Witch Mountain, Mulan. Those 2 just seem to, there's a few that keep repeating here that I'm definitely going to have to go back and check out. But I've made my list here today. I'm going to tell you why they're my top 5.5, 6, I guess. Let's start with number 5. Number 5 being The Jungle Book. The Jungle Book, when I was a kid, taught me something that it doesn't matter where you're from. Who you love and who loves you are really your family. It moved me. I've always been a very emotional person ever since, I can remember thought. I remember being very, things hit me harder than I think they'd hit people around me. And I don't know why, but it taught me that. I'm just going to bring my notes out here. Number 5 was Jungle Book. Number 4 is Robin Hood. Robin Hood taught me to be a good person in the weirdest kind of way. He's an anti-hero in the sense that he's stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. But that resonated to me when I was very young, and I remember I wanted to give back as much as I could, and I guess that's why I'm here doing this and leaving my message at the end of the video. If you guys never have listened to the message at the end of the video, give it to the end this time. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. But Robin Hood started me down the path of loving the anti-hero as the protagonist of the story, the Han Solos of the world. Those were the people I wanted to be like the most. I didn't want to be the guy in the white shining armor or the badge on his chest or the big white 10-gallon hat. That never appealed to me whatsoever. It was those gray zones that I really enjoyed, and those characters always spoke, volumes for me. Number 3 is a tie for me because they both end on the same note, and that's why I love them. The melancholy ending to them, that it isn't quite a happy ending. It is a happy ending for all the characters involved, but it's also a sad ending too. And what it taught me was that sometimes people come into your life and they're there for a little while. Sometimes they're gone. For me, a lot of my family passed away ever since I was about 7 years old. I won't get into details of, how many people, and you guys know, if you want to go back and watch The Road to 40, you'll find out all that information there. Well, if you've got the time, that's 300 videos, so that's a lot. Pete's Dragon and Fox and the Hound. Now, the Fox and the Hound speaks more to me than Pete's Dragon, because Pete's Dragon I watched when I was very little. I would read the book that came with the little record. Remember those, the 45s you'd listen to? Probably not if you're watching YouTube. Well, actually, my demographics, you probably remember. Anywho, Fox and the Hound, my parents brought me to see that, both of my parents, and my dad died when I was 7, so that that tells you how long ago it was. I remember seeing it and loving it, and seeing Todd and Copper and their relationship form, and even the hunter and I can't remember all the names. I'm not a supercomputer. But they're the two that would bicker and quarrel, but they loved each other at the core of things. They would take care of each other. They wouldn't see that the other one got hurt. But all the relationships in that movie were really beautiful. And the sad part was on the end, when, Copper and Todd have to go their own ways. They both have happy endings. They both have a good life and good families and people that care about them and love. But it's sad to see that. And that has always been tough to me. And the Buddhist mentality of being able to let go, I've never been able to grasp that, because I can't let go of things. And I know that's bad, and I know that's not good for probably my mental health or physical health for that matter. But those movies instilled that in me. So thanks, Fox and the Hound. Thanks, Disney. Now, I can't say that number 2 has any real impact on my life as much as the other films did, but I enjoyed it so much as far as an entertainment thing. And of course, there is a little bit of sacrifice at the end of this movie too. Aladdin comes in at number 2 because the genie gets his wish, and finally he finds somebody who cares about him just as much as they care about themselves. Given 3 wishes, it's tough to say that you would sacrifice one of those wishes for releasing the genie. I mean, ultimately, I'd like to think that I would, but, shit went crazy for Aladdin. He needed to make those wishes count. And, of course, Robin Williams, may he rest in peace, is just phenomenal in this movie. I can't say enough about it. If you've never seen it, you're crazy. Go watch it right now. And if you have, you know what I'm talking about. And finally, coming in at number 1, this is a shocker, Moana. I cannot watch that movie start to finish without crying at least 9 times. It's just, I don't know if it's her journey, knowing it's such a split choice she has to make. She's like, do I stay here, and find happiness right where I am? Or do I follow my heart and go out onto the seas and journey and voyage and stuff? And Moana can't be broken down to a simple what if story, like what if I did this, what if I did that. It's such a stronger message, and it hits hard when that movie climaxes. It's just, everything is perfect. The writing, the acting, the music, it's just so beautiful. And Aladdin, that's another reason why it's definitely in the top 2, because the music just changed me. And no other movie after that. And they tried, Elton John, I'm looking at you. They tried to match it, like the movie with a musician. And I mean, Lion King is really good. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Beautiful. It was perfect. I mean, I shouldn't fault it he's goddamn Elton John. But Aladdin was Robin Williams singing. Like, Elton John, yeah, obviously, you're Elton John. Robin Williams, smashed that role. He just destroyed it, and he sings, and his singing is so good in it, and it just charismatic, and I couldn't get enough of it. And that's why I compared every other Disney movie that came out to Aladdin, because the music never quite lived up to it to me. Like, the music from song to song, start to finish. In my honest opinion, Aladdin is absolutely the number 1 best musical movie for Disney. Until Moana. Moana just, I mean, it took it to the next level, I think. Or it kind of, played on the same playing field where you had an actor stepping up to sing the role, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's voice is a good voice. He's a good singer. The songs are all touching, memorable, and I could listen to that soundtrack a million times and sing along with it while I'm doing dishes in the kitchen or down in the basement doing laundry. Okay, guys, this is a different type of episode. If you guys like this episode, please let me know in the comments below. We'll do more of these top 5s, top 10s, whatever we want to do. But this one I thought it was a neat idea. I just randomly asked the other day, and I was so surprised at how much interest there was in talking about Disney movies that I figured I'd make this video. So if you guys are loving the content I'm creating as much as I love creating the content that you guys are watching, you should consider liking, commenting, and oh God, please just subscribe. Then hit the little bell icon, because it'll let you know every time I put out a new video. I wasn't begging there. Don't forget to make somebody smile today. Make yourself a better person tomorrow than you were tomorrow. Let's make the world spin a little bit happier together. Let's sing and dance in the sun and in the rain as one, my brothers and sisters. Oh, yeah. Live life to the fullest and love every moment of it, because you just never know when that last moment's going to come for you. However, Never live in fear of that moment. Always live in love and never let your inner child die. Take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and take care of those around you who cannot take care of themselves, for they are the ones that need it the most. And if no one has told you today that they love you, the Vodcast loves you very much, just the way you are. All right, guys, I'm Geycen Oliveira, and this is the Vodcast. I'll catch you guys a little bit further on down the road. Take care, everybody.